He's too old. He's out of touch, losing his marbles at an alarming rate.
They have sinks where no water comes out. You turn it on, no water comes out. You want to wash your hands, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen this, and you turn on the sink, and it's very little.
I do want to remind everybody, this is the guy that worked with the former Klansman.
I will be Donald Trump's most loyal advocate to make sure his nominees go to the Supreme Court.
Full of his struggles and ramblings and rantings and mumbling and bumbling and stumbling. You decide. Take a look.
They've deliberately surrendered our border to vicious coyotes and drug smugglers. I mean, these drug smugglers, the smuggler.
A smuggler!
I find it awkward. I find it embarrassing. He's really in the early stages of some kind of senile dementia.
I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings.
It's more than awkward and embarrassing. It's actually dangerous. Having someone with his mental state, to me, is terrifying.
She speaks in rhyme.
In rhyme? What do you...
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there, because that's what buses do. And it's weird.
He can't finish a sentence.
Anonymous, really anonymous.
The man doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know where the exit is. He's not sure how to get through a speech.
Mr. President, you need to sign it.
Old, outdated, retire, elderly, aging, senile, dementia, slow, confused, idiot, ignorant, sleepy, gaff, bumbling, bad, terrible, disappointing, joke, profanity.
Being corrupt is bad. Being corrupt and senile is even worse.
That ad comes to us from our friends at the Lincoln Project, and I absolutely love it and wanted to share it with y'all because it is so incredibly important now that Donald Trump is the oldest person to ever run for president, the oldest person to ever be the nominee of a major party. It's important to flip the arguments that were made by the media against President Biden and even by Donald Trump against President Biden because of his age on their head. Donald Trump has been attacking Joe Biden for being only 3 years older than him, but saying that Joe Biden can't be president because of his age, which just isn't true. But now it's true that Donald Trump is by far the oldest person in this race and a failed president. The media has been talking about age pretty much since Joe Biden was elected and saying it's the reason he couldn't be president in a second term. And now the media, which really loves to not completely cover all the flaws of Donald Trump, will be forced to reckon with asking the age question of him. And especially there over at the Fox Propaganda Network, they'll have to start asking themselves, is Donald Trump too old? Is his cognitive decline too clear and evident? Which it absolutely is. And it is so funny now to see that Republican argument be flipped on its head. We've seen Donald Trump make so many attacks on President Biden's cognitive ability, just fake and false and unfounded attacks. But now those same arguments are going to be made against Donald Trump, and they actually have real validity. And someone who thinks that argument has real validity, a top Republican, Nikki Haley, had this to say. Let's check it out.
The first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to be the party that wins this election.
The first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to be the party that wins this election. I have never said this before, but I hope Nikki Haley is right. Please, Nikki Haley, be right. President Biden made a big and courageous and selfless decision to step down because he saw it as the best way to protect our democracy, and he saw Vice President Kamala Harris as the best alternative. She is the best person, our new nominee, best equipped to beat Donald Trump. And the age issue, that was one that plagued President Biden's campaign, wrongfully so in my opinion, now becomes the only an issue for Donald Trump. And Nikki Haley knows that. This election is now not about the past or age for the Democratic Party. It is about the future in protecting women's reproductive freedoms, protecting civil liberties for all, expanding the Supreme Court, battling against the corrupt judges and justices that Donald Trump put in the judiciary, and building a better country with a brighter future. And someone who knows that to be true and made that argument on Fox News, funny enough, the Fox propaganda outlet, was Eric Swalwell. Let's check out what he had to say.
And so this is going to be a race now about the past and Donald Trump or the future, and also rights or reversal. The rights she'll protect, especially women's right to make a decision about her body, and the rights that, like that, Donald Trump has taken away with his Supreme Court nominees.
Tell me, well, the decision was to move it back to the states, and then the states decide about the rights that women have or don't have in that state,
In Florida,
which I know you understand.
6 weeks.
So
Eric Swalwell just hitting the nail on the head there, perfectly laying out the stakes of this election. Like I said, the media's fascination was with Joe Biden's age. That's all they wanted to talk about, not his accomplishments, his achievements, his agenda for a second term. But now they don't have that talking point to hit the Democratic Party with. Now they are forced to do what they should have been doing the whole time, what we do on this show, and that's talk about the actual issues. We're going to talk about what actually matters, the better future that the Kamala Harris administration, when she wins in November, will bring forward a better country. We're going to talk about what her administration would do to improve our lives by continuing to invest in infrastructure, lower prescription drug prices, and protect fundamental freedoms in this country. Now, we are only able to do that because of Joe Biden's historic record as president, and like I said earlier, because of his selflessness. And so I think now is a great time to reflect on the incredible president Joe Biden was and will continue to be for the next 6 months. And I think the best way to do that is to listen to what Kamala Harris had to say. Let's check it out.
And I wanted to say a few words about our president. Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap. In one term, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who have served 2 terms in office. And I first came to know President Biden through his son, Beau. We worked together as attorneys general in our states, and back then, Beau would often tell me stories about his dad. He would talk about the kind of father and the kind of man that Joe Biden is. The qualities that Beau revered in his father are the same qualities that I have seen every day in our president. His honesty, his integrity, his commitment to his faith and his family, his big heart, and his love, deep love of our country. And I am firsthand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. I completely agree with our incredible vice president and our incredible nominee for president. Joe Biden's historic record is the greatest, certainly, of my generation, and maybe the greatest presidency that we will ever see for decades to come. And Joe Biden has been an incredible bridge candidate, as he promised to be, to this next generation. And I am incredibly proud that he was our president for what will be, in 6 months, an incredible 4 years. And then following that, we will have an incredible president in Kamala Harris. And I am excited to continue to fight to make sure that she is elected, to make sure that she defeats Donald Trump, and to make sure that we preserve our democracy. And if you are as well, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you drop a like on this video. It really helps push these videos, share them, amplify them, and it really goes a long way, and it means so much to me. And as always, if you are a new subscriber to the channel, if you just subscribed on this video, let me know in the comments. I'd love to thank you. It really means a lot that you are joining this movement, that you are joining this new channel and what we are building. It is just incredible to see how fast we are growing, and it is because of you. Thank you. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all next time.